Hello and welcome to the session, and let's continue our discussion for one small topic. So we will see what is command line parameter, system property, what are the different assertions available in market, and what is static block, and etc. So let's see. So we will see what is a command line parameter. So for certain requirements or certain business requirement, what we want is we want to customize the execution. So what we want is we will pass on some parameters, and based on that parameter or based on those flags or switches, we want to run a specific set of test cases, or we want to control the flow of execution. Now this is possible. One way is using these command line parameters. So if you see here, this main method takes an array of string array. So this array arguments and how to pass the parameters from edit configuration. Now one point to note here is whatever arguments will be passing for this case, at least that will be considered as a string. Now we can pass number of parameters here. So how do you pass those parameters? If you are using IntelliJ or Eclipse, is you go to edit configuration, and for that particular class, so you can pass the arguments from here. So I'm passing argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, or you can pass ABCD, anything is fine. Now let's just run it. So what will happen, it will give you each and every argument. Okay, so begin here, the length is 3, and it is you have passed 3 argument. So that's how you can pass the argument, and you can take it as a string, and you can control the execution, etc. Now how you can also do using command line also, like on the command line you have the command to run a Java program. So Java and some command here, this is the Java program, space a1 space a2 space a3. So this is how you pass it from command line. Now another thing is basically this system properties. So you can set a system property you during the execution of a program, and you can get the property, and you can do further control on it. So system.get property user dir will give you the actual folder name where your project is currently uh, hosted. And set property, so it will basically set a global property, let's say prop1, and the value will be value1. It's up to you. You can change the value, you can change the property name also, or it can be passed from the edit configuration also. So what you do, instead of this, you can pass on this in the edit configuration. So here in the program argument, you can pass like this. So minus capital D is mandatory, and prop1 equal to bracket in the quotes v1. We can set any property a equal to in quotes b, or whatever you want, and you can set multiple properties also. So minus like this, so minus this space, let's say prop2 equal to value 2, and so on. So you can set multiple property. Once you have set the property there, then you can get the property like this. Okay, so let's just run it. Okay, so begin here, and then yeah, system.get property user dir. So this is where the current base project of the base folder of the current project. I have set the property prop1 value 1, and I'm getting the property prop1. So I'm getting the value as value 1. So you can set prop1 also. So whatever you have set, that you will get. This is about command line parameters. For Maven projects, for Gradle projects, we will see it separately. Now let us see assertions. So there are 3 different assertions supported for from these 3 different libraries. JUnit is a bit popular. TestNG is also used a couple of times, and I have found out one more called as assert4j. So all are used for different reasons. So let us see. Now if it is a Maven based project, you need to use this dependency for importing into your project for assert4j also. Otherwise, you can download the jar files from this Maven repository, and you can straight away import in your project and start running it. Now, what are the things in JUnit? If you see, so JUnit assert.fail. So what is assert or assertion? Basically, it will stop the execution of the program then and there, or basically it will throw an exception. So if you have an undesirable condition, undesirable situation, and you don't want to continue the program, you can halt it using assert statement. Now assert dot fail, org assert dot fail will actually stop the execution then and there. Or while you're stopping, if you want to put some string message, you can put it like this. There's one more thing called as assert not equal. So this is basically straight away assert. Okay, you compare the condition outside, but in this case you can compare the condition in the assert statement itself. You can say assert not equals with a message and the comparison. So both things are possible. The use of this is very varied. You can try it multiple ways. Now assert false if the condition is true, assert not null, and if it is null. So multiple ways of breaking the program is possible. Similarly, we have testng asserts, almost similar. So assert false. So if the condition is true and you are expecting false, so this is not matching. So it will be asserting and it will stop the execution. Now assert false true and you want to print a message, a custom message, that is also possible. Yeah, you can assert on not equals, assert not equals, and you can print a custom message there, assert on a boolean condition and with a message. So multiple combinations are possible. Now one good thing about this next type assert4j is because it has little additional facility. So assert that you have a proper English statement, assert j core API assertions, assert that this ABCD is equal to this ABCDE. So this is a bit modified version and bit appealing to me, that how it can be asserted. So obviously this is not equals to this, so it will assert. Now another thing to note here is assertions assert that this actual starts with this, ends with this, and contains this. So this is a little more enhanced way to check whether the string has so many things or desired. So this is, I would say, this is bit helpful for multiple operations. So you basically need not to put any if condition and other things also. So yeah, let's run this once and see what is happening. So it will basically assert, it will stop the execution, right? So an exception is generated on this line. Let's just see. So this string starts with AB, ends with MNOP, but it doesn't contain 1, 2, 3. Right. So that is how it is failing. It is throwing an exception. So yeah, this is about assertions. Now let us see the static block. This is bit programming concept here from programming perspective. So we have something called as a static block. So if you see in this class, the static block is something which is not inside the main method. Okay, it is outside the main method. If you see, this is a static block which is outside the main method. So why static block is used? Because before the execution of this main method, if you want to on purpose set something or do some processing just before executing the main method, that time we can go for a static block. Now as you can see in this class util 15, there are two static blocks. So what happens is all the static blocks are executed before running the main method, no method where they are defined. So first this static block will be executed, then this, then the main method will be executed. Okay, now what is happening in the static block is basically it is setting a base path and it is checking whether a file exists or not. If the file exists, not exist, it will assert, otherwise it will say file exists. Okay, and after this it will execute this static block and then the main method. Okay, so given test file exists, static2, you see static2, and then inside the main method, So static blocks has its own advantages. So we should use it optimally. Thank you.